most troubling, most troubling. Oh, was it today that you would arrive? Well, certainly seems like it. Welcome, welcome. I expected you would come, though perhaps not quite so soon. You're here about the missing relics, of course. Well, yes, I would dare say you wouldn't. Not yet, anyway. You see, this happens to be the Vault of Moawita, where the Psijic Order keeps its most cursed relics. It's a tad bit emptier than usual, though. It seems we've had a break-in. Exactly so. And you'll be the one to help us collect them again. Hopefully before anyone comes to harm. Why, these items could cause all sorts of mischief. First, though, let's have you read the Psijic Codex. That should help bring you up to speed. You'll find the Psijic Codex on that table over there whenever you're ready. The Codex will help your search immensely. It's bound to every item in our collection, so it should be able to tell you each relic's location. The Psijic Order doesn't interfere with much outside of Artaeum, I'm afraid, and the relics have already found their way to Summerset. The items are hidden, of course, but the Codex should point you in the right direction. I believe they're called dead drops, a location where one may place an item for another to pick up without raising suspicion. Our thief has hidden all of the relics for that express purpose. Of course, you'll be the one to pick them up now. All ready to head out then on your big adventure? Ah, sorry about that. Location magic isn't always what one would call precise. I can tell you that all these locations are somewhere within Summerset. That should hopefully narrow your search. Well, they're certainly dangerous. I wouldn't suggest touching any of them directly. Their side effects vary, but none are very pleasant, to say the least. Misery, insanity, incessant lute playing, that sort of thing. It's much worse than it sounds, trust me. If you're still curious, I've collected research about each relic. Just read the scrolls placed before their display case. That should give you a good idea about their abilities. Exactly. You'll just need to find the properly labeled display case in the Vault of Moawita and place the relic within it. That should help safely bind its curse. Well, it looks like you're all set. And now that you're all set for the journey, feel free to ask me any questions you'd like. I've never been one to ignore a healthy curiosity. Oh, most certainly. The Relic Master of the Psijic Order, which has been me for quite some time, is in charge of collecting, researching, and maintaining relics of interest to the Order. Each of these relics tend to stand out in some way. Generally, they're items too powerful for the Order to allow their misuse. Other times, they're just mysterious and in need of research. Naturally, those are my favorite. Each relic is, of course, sealed and carefully maintained as a precaution. Why, all sorts of things. I can't even begin to list the effects our relics might have on the balance of Nirn, should their power go unchecked. Not that we'd even let that happen, of course, They're carefully locked away expressly for that reason. Ah, you're able to get right to the heart of the matter, aren't you? The most aggravating part is, well, we saw it coming. Our order sees most important things in a fashion. Sadly, in this case, we were powerless to stop it. I'm afraid not. Whenever we try to envision the occurrence, or even who the thief is, all we see are shadows. The work of a dark magic, most certainly. I'd have been far more worried if I hadn't already known of your timely intervention. Those who employ such dark magic, well, they don't tend to maintain control for very long. Power always has its price, and I suspect our little thief will have quite the hefty payment. For now, I'll go about my duties as I always have. Oh, most certainly. The relic...
So you're the one that Valcerin has been talking about. The same person I met back at the ruins in Summerset? What brings you to Kapora Tower, my friend? That strange pearl has certainly been reluctant to reveal its secrets. The Rite Master hates it when an inanimate object refuses to cooperate. Regarding the amplification elixir, I just cataloged it. It's a Sotha Seal creation, as you'd expect. What? No, not in the traditional sense. He's not one of our monks, if that's what you're asking. More like an honorary member, I guess you'd say. According to my records, the silver vial should be right over there. As soon as the pearl arrived via Valcerin's transference spell, the Rite Master gathered the conclave to prepare an augury ritual. He's been cycling sages through to keep them fresh, while slowly increasing the intensity of the ritual. I'm the Rite Master's acolyte. I have other duties to perform. Besides, such a complex ritual requires the power of the conclave of the 11 forces. I'm not that strong yet. Under the Rite Master's tutelage, I expect to attain that rank. One day. Despite opinions to the contrary, being an Altmer isn't a prerequisite for membership in the Psijic Order. The Rite Master noticed my potential and invited me to join. I had a year to consider the offer, but I made my decision immediately. I'm not allowed to reveal where you are or how our magic works, other than to tell you that you have arrived upon the fabled island of the Psijic Order, Artaeum. While we're not currently part of Nirn's reality, we still keep track of events there. I could say we have our ways and leave it at that, but you deserve a better explanation. The Rite Master sends Psijics back to the world to perform tasks and gather information. Plus, we have powerful scrying magic that reveals all sorts of details. I was examining the vial of amplification elixir myself just a short time ago. It should be right over there.
Was Oriandra able to direct you to the proper elixir? Without something to amplify the magic, our ritual is going to fail. Just in time. For the next stage of the ritual, if you have no objections, I'd like you to join us. Your experiences alongside Valsarin might help reveal what has so far eluded our efforts. We'll handle the magic. You pour the elixir into the scrying pool and stand close. As the ritual's power amplifies, your experiences with the Pearl and the False Aldark should help the augury do its job. We want to discover the origin of the Pearl and its strange magic. In addition, anything we can learn about the False Aldark and his connection to the Pearl would be helpful. Otherwise, we're stepping blindly into Oblivion's maw here. Pour the elixir into the pool. That should provide the final boost we need to trigger the augury.
Here we stand, the most favored servants of Clavicus Vile, Nephala, and Nocturnal, on the verge of the greatest victory for our princes.
Are you sure those creatures can be trusted?
Have no fear. Isn't that why we formed the Court of Bedlam? Besides, what happens next in Relenthiel will seal Summerset's fate.
That was unnerving. It seems the False Aldark belonged to an alliance of Daedric cultists called the Court of Bedlam. Imagine, the faithful of Clavicus Vile, Nephala, and Nocturnal working together. This is more serious than I anticipated. No, but I'm hardly an expert on the Daedric cults of Tamriel. The magic I sensed in the Pearl, though, it doesn't contain the taint of Oblivion. We're missing something. But what? I suppose we'll need to find out what's going on in Relenthiel. I hoped you'd say that. Relenthiel sits to the west of Shimmerine, just across the mountains. I'll send Valsarin with you to talk to the Cannon Reeve. The False Aldark may be dead, but Mephala's and Nocturnal's agents remain, as well as the Pearls. I may not be a natural prognosticator, but I had a feeling you might. Go ahead. I'll answer what I can. From what I've experienced, an alliance isn't just unusual, it's contrary to their very nature. Oh, they'll work together from time to time, but something as complex as what Sotha Seal hinted at is unheard of. Makes me interested to learn more. Very little, I'm afraid. The last time I passed through that area was more than 350 years ago. They made an exquisite wine, as I recall, and the House of Reveries theater troupe always put on an entertaining show. The augury ritual extracted a vision of the False Aldark and the Court of Bedlam, but nothing specifically about the Pearl. Its magic isn't Daedric, though. How they can steal life energy and use it to summon those sea creatures remains a mystery.
I happen to be the only merchant on Artaeum. Not that I get much business, mind you. In fact, you're my first customer in weeks. Someone with flesh on their bones. Thank Moloch. What? Oh, thank Malakath. I thought you were the Relic Master. I'm not sure what brings you down here, but you couldn't have come at a better time. As you can see, I'm a little impaired. Our betters don't like to talk about it. When they do, they call it Trader's Vault. According to my research, it used to serve as a retreat for the Order's most talented pupils. But then, without warning, the Right Master barred it shut. Good question. I found this memory stone in the Grand Reliquary. It's called the Eye of Remembrance. Using it near the library pedestals here might show us why these ruins were sealed. You look stronger than most. How about you lend me a hand? What luck! To find a fellow troublemaker on this stiff-necked isle. There should be pedestals scattered throughout the ruin that will cause the eye to activate. I'll contact you through oral projection to walk you through it. Ulaseta, formerly of Clan Kog. The Sijiks want you to renounce those old affiliations, you see. Don't want that sort of thing to interfere with your dedication to the old ways. Something like 350 years, give or take a decade. I know what you're thinking. She looks sprightly for her age, right? Long life comes with the robes. The Sijiks don't think you can learn much of anything in a normal orc lifetime. Semantics. I'm still an apprentice, you see. I should have earned my gray cloak a century ago, but I'm too much of a gadfly. Rubs our masters the wrong way. I'm what they call an admina, a poor listener. The fact is, I listen better than most. Yes, a whole heap of them. Skeletons mostly. I tried to banish them, but my mastery of restoration falls way short of adequate. Your guess is as good as mine. Like I said, the Right Master locked everyone out shortly after we went into seclusion. It might have something to do with the Worm King. Manamarco. Right Master Ikesis threw him out just before the island disappeared. From what I hear, He caused quite an uproar on the mainland. Other than the fancy name, I'm not exactly sure. If you look closely, you'll see it's covered in Aldmeric runes. I tried to translate them, but most of them are time-worn and illegible. The only words I can decipher are travel and memory. Of course, I wouldn't have risked the Sigic's wrath on a hunch. Apparently, the students who studied here used the eye extensively. With any luck, some of the channeling pedestals will still work. Guess we'll just have to see.
Just look at this place. How in Cerebane's name did you get the right master to unlock it for you?
He rightly acknowledged our superior skill. It's only natural that he'd let us work here.
Well, it's quite a privilege.
Privilege? It's our right, Valis. You mustn't be so humble all the time.
Not this again. Come, let's explore further.
Secluded? Cavernous? Yes, this will be perfect for my research.
That was Manimarco, and Vana Scalarian, the leader of the Mages Guild. Can you believe this? It must be Manimarco's laboratory.
have you done? This is just repugnant.
Oh, Varnus. I would have thought you less judgmental. It's just a bit of puppetry. Nothing but arcane lift and spirit handling.
That was a living thing, Manimarco. You're edging close to a dangerous line. Too close.
You sound like the right master. The only lines are those you draw in your mind.
I'm not going to... Please. Just find a new avenue of research, all right?
Oh, Varnus, you fool. You will never understand true power.
I always heard Vanus and Manimarco were friends, but it seems like a complex relationship. Fascinating! Let's see what else we can find.
to our classmates? What is wrong with you?
Wrong? Honestly, grow up, Vanus. There is no right and wrong. Only power and weakness.
You've made me for a fool. I can't believe I didn't see the rot infesting your soul. You will answer for this eventually. I swear it.
And you, my friend, will answer for your short-sightedness when I eclipse you in every way.
I always thought Manimarco was confused, misguided. Seems he knew exactly what he was doing. Amazing.
Didn't you? You're a greater fool than I thought.
You tainted the Thapora Tower. You're worse than a murderer.
Pathetic. Do you expect Ichesis to bind me here? No! Simply banish me from the island.
That won't be enough. You're a beast, Manimarco. A beast that needs to be caged.
So these are the events that led to Manimarco's exile. Let's keep exploring. I didn't expect that. Meet me outside. We have a lot to talk about. Welcome back, partner. By Malakath, what a discovery! We learned about the history of the Vault, the Worm King's relationship with Vanus Galarian, and you even destroyed one of Manamarco's vile experiments. Not bad for a day's work. Don't turn on me now. The Eye gave us glimpses of Manamarco's work. With time, we might be able to learn more about his process. Know your enemy, right? I hope I can count on you to keep this a secret. Here's a little something for the effort. Let's do this again sometime, huh?
No, you will not be doing anything like this ever again, Uliseta.
Spying on us, huh? Well, I'm sick of you cowards hiding knowledge away and then punishing us for discovering it.
If not for Admana, like you, we wouldn't have to hide things like the eye you stole. Come, Uliseta. Your punishment awaits.
Good. I'm anxious to tell you all exactly what I think of you.
Yeah.
Ah, this one has been looking for you. Raz's investigations have brought him to Relenthiel. When this one noticed your Sijic friend slip into town, Raz figured you'd be along soon. So, what did you discover on Arteum, the island that isn't here anymore? Ugh, that made Raz's head hurt. Yes, this one has been exploring the Daedric connection as well. But Raz hates Daedra. In Raz's experience, very little good comes from dealing with Daedra or their cultists. And this revelation brings you to Relenthiel, yes? That is disturbingly vague. Why must cryptic cultists be so... cryptic? Well, Raz saw Valserin head toward Canonry Farmeldo's house. This one suggests we start our investigation of the area there.
Go inside and we'll discuss this later. And take off that ridiculous hood.
Ridiculous? I'll show you what's ridiculous. I'll show you all!
You think as Canon Reeve I'd be immune to the troublesome temper of a spoiled and rebellious child. But what distinguished visitors I have today. A wandering sage, a well-dressed Khajiit, and you. What brings such a group to Relenthiel? Investigating. For who? Well, there have been 3 reports this week of someone disappearing. And my intractable son Nadoril and his malcontent friends have been cavorting around the large sinkhole that recently appeared. What are you implying? They're just young and proud of their heritage. I wouldn't draw such a harsh conclusion without substantial evidence. I can't understand why they're fascinated with the sinkhole, but that doesn't make them criminals. It's unusual for newcomers to encroach upon Altmer affairs, especially since we rarely saw any prior to the Queen's decree. If you want to investigate, I won't try to stop you. And if anything happens, maybe it will teach my son to avoid the place.
Raz wants to ask the Canon Reeve a few more questions. Take the Sijic and go investigate the sinkhole.
I'll meet you in the sinkhole.
Dawnbreaker, open the way! Oh, come on. Stupid Daedric interference. I'll be back.
one of those horrible creatures tore off my hood!
That young woman was certainly in a hurry. And what was that about an Adoral and an attack? Yes, well, let's be on our guard then. I don't think this sinkhole is completely natural. Its size concerns me. If the ground continues to fall away, it could swallow all of Relenthal. It certainly feels dangerous. And if it does figure into the Court of Bedlin's plans, well, I can't think of a more frightening event than watching Relenthal get swallowed by a sinkhole. Let's proceed and find out what's going on down here.
Crazy bastard stabbed me! God, this hurts! It was just kind of fun, joining the Court of Bedlam, espousing the virtues of our Ultima heritage. But Doral, he took things too far. When we heard that they planned to release those creatures, I made the mistake of saying they were insane. Doral objected, called me unworthy. That's when he stabbed me.
The Court of Bedlam will eradicate the lesser races. Maybe even deal with our unworthy queen.
Over here. Keep quiet and tell me if you see what I see. You see that, right? My eyes aren't playing tricks on me. That's a sea slode. They haven't been seen in Summerset since, well, it's been centuries at least. A vile and dangerous species. Very powerful. The sea slode come from the distant underwater kingdom of Ulvorkus. Who's that hooded figure with the slode? And look, more of those abyssal pearls. They're everywhere. The slode are a godless people. Perhaps the most hated in Tamriel. And the sea slode are even worse. They employ depraved magic and have long coveted Summerset. They believe it once belonged to them. They pillage, release plagues. They're horrible. The hooded figure could be a member of this so-called Court of Bedlam. At this point, nothing would surprise me. That Slode has me worried, though. I can't think of anything worse than an alliance between those foul beasts and Daedric cultists. They could certainly have a connection to the Sea Slode's submerged kingdom, but they appear to have been placed down here. Look how the Yagra are drawn to them. I'll head for the Sea Slode. You deal with those abyssal pearls.
Master! Intruders in the cave!
Heed me, my creatures! Destroy the intruders!
That young idiot! We need to get over there.
Witness the power of Katora, the Abyssal Cabal!
This way! Up here! Damn! No sign of where the Sea Slode disappeared to. Damn it! I wasn't fast enough. For the time being, let's see what's through that opening. The Sea Slode left us something to remember it by. We need to dispatch that creature. There! I think we can get out over there.
Hurry, this... Somehow Raz knew he'd find you here.
Sea Slodes! This is worse than the Right Master imagined. Meet me in Artaeum after you talk to the Queen's Eye.
Did the pretty Sijik say sea slode? No. Raz must have heard wrong. That could not have been what she said. Slode? That's bad. And sea slode? That sounds even worse. If the sea slode threatens Summerset, Queen Irene must be informed. We need to act. Wait. What did you say about the Cannon Reeve's son? Daedra worshippers. In Summerset. And Slode. Oh, Raz likes this situation less and less. As for Nedoril, Raz knows how to deal with traitors. This one will meet you at the Cannon Reeve's house.
The Eye of the Queen? How dare you accuse my son of treason? The Queen's Eye? How dare he not identify himself when he first arrived? And how dare he accuse my foolish son of something as serious as treason? The Queen shall hear of this, mark my words. Sea slode? Plus all this nonsense about Altma's superiority, and now murder? I am the Canon Reeve of Relenthil. I took an oath to serve and protect my community. How in the Queen's name am I supposed to reconcile my son's actions? Oh, Nedoril, what have you done? Please, you must talk to the Queen's Eye. He needs to show mercy. I'm sure we can find a way to resolve this without... Oh, here comes Nedoril now.
I have a lot to answer for? The court of Bedlam is going to turn me into a god!
Foolishness can be ignored. Murder and treason, not so much.
You and your queen have no authority over a true Altma, you mangy cat.
This one cannot allow your crimes to stand unanswered.
Nedoril! No! No! I understand. Relenthil is loyal to the Queen.
Sometimes the Eye sees treason and must cut it out before it spreads. This one is sorry you had to witness that. Blasphemy, treason, murder. How many crimes must one commit to attract the attention of the executioner's blade? Raz decided that a message had to be sent. Enemies of the Queen will not be tolerated. Treason and the Queen's justice are serious business. Raz has been forced into this role on rare occasions, but he never seeks it out or looks forward to wielding the blade. A necessary part of my job, yes. No. Raz will see to the Canon Reeve and send word to the Queen before looking deeper into the Court of Bedlam. You should return to Artaeum and let the Sijiks know what we learned. I tell you, Five Claw, this whole situation makes Raz want to hiss.
Mastering a weapon.
A good suit of armor.
Stay out of trouble.
Kude, Mako, Rekuta, Kude, Mako, Rekuta, Kude, Mako, Denata, 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 Kude, Mako, Denata. Kura, Mako, Denata. Kura, Mako, Denata. Kura, Mako, Denata.
Plain